What's going on, guys? One of the things that every good survivalist, prepper, etc. needs to have with them is a way to start fire, right? That's a pretty common, you'd think self-explanatory thing that everybody would automatically think of. And I think most people probably do. So what I want to get into real quick is different ways of starting it, and particularly fire steels. Now you can obviously use lighters and matches and excuse me, all kind of different methods, even going primitive with a bow drill, that sort of thing, flint and steel, whatever. Having some method of starting fire. Now obviously you'd use the most convenient sources first if things ever went south. You'd use up your lighters and matches first and foremost, because they're obviously going to be the easiest to start a fire with. But one of the best things to have in my mind, and I think you need to have like super redundancy on these, just because they're so compact and light and easy to carry and simple, you can just stash them everywhere. And that's just your plain old fire steel, which I assume everybody's fairly familiar with what a fire steel is. You scrape it with a hard piece of steel, make sparks, start a fire. I won't get into all the technical aspects of it, ferrocerium rod, and getting into the makeup of it, because I don't even understand the makeup of some of it, to be honest with you. It gets above my my basic knowledge level on how it's all made and put together. But you can get fire steels all over the place, right? There's all kind of different brands. You can find different name brand ones. You can find just plain rod blanks all over eBay, etc. Now, one of the things that I've heard, I haven't experienced it myself because I actually haven't gotten any from there, but I've heard a lot of guys buying them off of eBay. They get them, and the rods themselves are not that good. They don't make a good hot shower of sparks, or a long enough burning shower of sparks to ignite their tinder. I've got some good fire steels that I've used for a while. Now they're a name brand one. Well, name brand because of their style, I guess. I don't remember exactly what brand they are, but they've always worked okay. But I've never been completely happy with. I always felt like I had to work a little bit harder at getting a fire started with them than what I should have. They'll make decent sparks, but they wouldn't last long enough to actually catch on. You really had to work at it, and I mean, anyway, I want to show you what I got sent, and will tell you up front, I'm already just thoroughly and completely in love. The folks at firesteel.com, and I'll put a link down below, sent me one of these to check out. Sent me a couple of things. This is their Gobspark Armageddon. Okay, now come in a little closer, you can take a look at it. Looks a little different than what you might be normally used to, right? Well, your rod fits inside the handle with your striker on it. Okay, you see a little different shape on the handle there. Couple of cool things about this. Number one, obviously it's all self-contained, not anything new or amazing there. There's other ones that are, self-contained ones you can get on the market. They've got a striker and rod built in. Okay, I like it because it's convenient. But you can see this one's bright orange. Now normally I like stuff subdued for the most part, but in this case, for a true survival item, the bright orange can kind of be good, because if you are in a really stressful true survival situation, then you may end up finding yourself at a point where you're starting to lose a little bit of your faculties. And what I mean by that is, if you're cold and wet and truly trying to survive, okay, your brain might not be functioning as clearly as it is right now if we're just standing around talking. You could be striking to get your fire going, and then in a moment of lapse, instead of putting it together and sticking it back in your pocket or pouch wherever you keep it at, you might just lay it on the ground to tend your fire and forget. Well, sometimes if you've got a nice dark earth tone one, you might lose it, forget about it. This one being bright orange, obviously it's going to be a lot easier to find if you lay it on the ground, okay? A lot of words to say that, sorry. These from Fire Steel produce some of the most amazing sparks I've seen. I mean, it's tons of sparks, really, really hot, but they don't just and they're gone. They hit the ground and still keep burning. I mean, they like keep burning after they've landed, and you can hear them like balls of molten metal hitting the ground if you're standing like concrete or something. It's crazy the kind of sparks these things put off, and you don't have to really get down on it. Just, a good moderate amount of pressure, and you're making sparks like mad. So what I want to show you with these is just how easy it is to make sparks with them, and show you a couple of features of what kind of sets theirs apart. Now, they got a couple of different models. If you go to their website, you've got this one, which is the big Gobspark Armageddon. They've got some other smaller ones. This is their Ranger, which is just stupid convenient. I mean, you've got a nice small rod, good striker. You can have 550 cord through it, easy to keep them together. I mean, putting that in your kit, you could just have these stashed all over the place, okay? It's ridiculously easy. They've got blank rods with no handle on it, just a hole drilled through it, like that you can put your own lanyard cord through, okay? Just all kind of options on sizes, configurations, etc. But even these little ones just make tons of sparks. And while I'm on the small one for a second, let me show you something. This striker I absolutely love, okay, for a small striker. Some of my other, I guess for lack of a better term, pocket steels have got strikers with them, but it's a little thin piece of metal, and obviously what makes a striker good is having nice sharp 90-degree edges on it, right? Well, little thin pieces of metal that come with some other ones, if you're really having to work at it to get a bunch of sparks going, if you've got greener or wet tinder or whatever, multiple times I've just put blisters within just a minute on my finger from working that, where it's just cutting into your finger. This thing is so comfortable to hold. I mean, you can strike with it until you wear the rod out, like continuously, and it's not going to mess with your hands. So I love this. You can also grip this one good with gloves on too. Speaking of gloves, that's one of the cool things about this. The way this one works, it makes it real easy to use it with gloves on, because your striker has got a big enough handle that you can kind of monkey grip it and don't have to use two fingers. You can actually get enough of it in your hand to hold even with gloves on, and you could do it with even thicker winter gloves. With the Fire Steel, instead of trying to hold it between your thumb and index finger, okay, you put it between your fingers like that, and now it's good and stable. You're not having to use any fine motor skill. I know that's an overused term, but bear with me. You can hold it nice and stable between your fingers to strike it, especially pointing downwards, and you've got good control over it, good position, you angle it where you need to, etc. But with gloves on, okay? That to me is a really, really good thing, to be able to do it with gloves on. So, enough yammering about all that stuff. What I want to show you is, I want to show you what the sparks off this thing look like. So let me get the camera moved over here real quick and show you some sparkly stuff. Alright, so what I'm going to do is use one of my lids from one of my cast iron pots here, just to kind of catch the sparks in, so you can, hopefully they'll show up on the camera there. You can see how long they actually burn after they hit the lid. So like I said, normally you can hold it like this, hold it like that, but just because of camera angle and for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to hold it a little funky here, but if I do it right, you won't really be able to see. So I'll try to do this so you can see how it looks. So let's give her a shot. Now I'm going to take, and you can also scrape off. See, even trying to scrape it off just to make a little pile of shavings, this stuff wants to light up on me. So see, it's hitting those shavings that I've got down there. Like I said, some of these sparks are just mental. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera, but even a little small one, okay? Just to give you an idea what the small one can do. Let's get some scraped off there. Now, again, I'm not putting a whole lot of effort into that, guys. This thing just makes sparks like mad. Don't know what else to say other than that. It does what it's supposed to do and makes a ton of hot sparks that keep burning and make it really easy to light a fire with. So that all said, all I can say is I'm in love with these, and I'm probably going to be buying a bunch more, because I want to make sure I got at least 2 or 3 or 4 different ones, different sizes for myself to stash. Heck, have one in my truck, have one in my patrol pack, have one in my gear. Just, I don't know, I've got just a whole list of places I can stash them. I want to get 2 or 3 for my wife and each of my sons, etc. So the price on these, I think, is as good or better than anything else in the market too. You're not going to break the bank trying to get one. You're looking at, you know, 14 bucks, give or take. I'd have to go back and look at their website again to see exactly what it was individually, but it's not a lot. So if you're looking for a good fire steel, check out firesteel.com. Can't say enough good stuff about these. I'm more than impressed with not only the rods, but the strikers, just the overall quality of them. Just seems really, really, really good. I know there's probably something I'm missing and forgetting to tell you guys, so if there is, now I'll chalk it up to can't remember crap disease. So yeah, I think that's probably all there really is to say. Good Fire Steel, firesteel.com. Check it out. Show them some love. These are really good. Probably in upcoming videos when you see me out starting a fire, this is what I'm going to be using. Heck, I'll probably be using these instead of a lighter even now, just because they work so darn good. You can get a good bit of sparks and one strike and you're gone, and you ain't got to stand there and try to hold a lighter underneath something and get it going. Really a big fan of these guys. So anyway, take care. We'll talk to you later.